Hey, what is going on, everybody? So I'm really excited today because I have a fun one for you guys. We're going to a very large aquarium that is in a residential home. This thing is really big, it's beautiful, it's a really unique setup. But the reason why I'm doing this video is because I need your guys' help. Now, we've had this tank for multiple years and it's been kind of stagnant. And we finally got the permission from the client to go ahead and invest a little bit more into the tank. So they want to see more fish and more coral. So I'm very happy about that. We got the green light there. So I need your guys' help with some suggestions of what to put in this tank. Now the customer has some specific guidelines they kind of want to follow. But before we even get into that, let's go ahead to the aquarium right now. I'm going to pack up the truck and I'll see you guys there. All right, so here we are. And now first thing you'll notice is this tank is very oddly shaped, but I like it. It's pretty wide, but it's really tall. So there's a lot of height to this aquarium. So I got the whites on. Now let's go through this tank and let's first start with the corals that we have in here. Now let's start from the very top here. The first coral you'll notice is the waving hand anthelia up here at the top, which is doing really well. And it's I love the way it looks. It's got some real flow to it. It's got some movement to it. The color's not all that, but the customer really likes the movement to the coral. Then we got some Captain Jerk pallies over here, and those are just doing amazing. They're spreading like crazy. And you can see a bubble tip and the anemone, it's wedged itself back there. And then we have some more pallies over on this side. They're a little bit brighter green. But the pallies are doing great in this tank. And then we have some eagle-eye zoas right here, zoanthids that I just put in a couple months back, and those are they're looking good. I'm hoping those spread. I would love to see a whole rock full of those. Also, there's some green star polyp in here. So we have the lighter green, the more dull green that's encrusting on there. I'd love to see that do well. Then we have the brighter green frag right there in the middle. I'd love to see those two kind of like mixed together. I think that'd be really cool to have the different textures of green. So I'm hoping that those take off. We do have some Euphilia in here, but unfortunately the anemone stung this guy. This is a hammer coral. The anemone kind of went for a walk and we lost one of the heads of this hammer coral, so that's unfortunate, but hopefully he makes a recovery. We also have behind this gorgonian, there is a toxic splattered hammer back there, which you can barely make out. I'm gonna have to move him, or the gorgonian, because that's a really pretty coral and I want that to be in better view. But I mean, this is a very mature aquarium. You can see there's another bubble tip anemone right there. But you can see all the corals in here, the anemones, the soft corals, they're all doing really well, right? They're doing, the softies, they got toadstool down there. They're all doing incredibly well. The water chemistry is spot on, but we definitely need some more stuff in this tank. I do love soft corals, and I do like anemones, don't get me wrong. Like, I like these mushroom corals. And the green is nice on them, but I want to add some more color to this tank for sure. Like this leather coral is doing great and it's reproducing, but the color on it's a bit dull and it's got like a bluer tone to it, which when the blue lights come on, you don't really get to see it. These mushrooms are nice again, but it's green. And speaking of green, we have this cabbage coral, which is doing incredibly well, which I think adds a lot of brightness to this tank as well, and it's a good size, so it definitely catches your eye. But we got a lot of room all through here to put different types of coral. I mean, this whole area, there's a lot of real estate in this tank to add more coral. So if you guys can think of anything, there's another little toadstool I noticed that's fallen on the ground there. But the polyps are fully extended and that's out. And then there's a rock flower in the sand, which I love rock flower anemones a lot. And as far as fish in this tank, we have a diamond goby right there. He kind of keeps the sand bed clean, stirs it up a bit. So that's a really pretty fish. We got another little sand sifting goby right next to him, little buddies. They seem to be getting along just fine. But they do a great job on keeping the sand turned over. And we have a yellow chorus wrasse, which I think is probably my favorite fish in the tank. PJ Cardinal. We have a pair of the PJ Cardinals. What else we got in here? We got bright blue damsel, which maybe we make this a damsel tank because we have a bunch of different. We have the black and white damsel, we have the Kupang damsels. We had a bunch of different damsels in here, so maybe we make this a damsel tank. That'd be kind of cool. All different types of damsels in this aquarium. And there's another PJ Cardinal. I think that'd be interesting because damsels got some really good colors on them. We have a little fairy wrasse right there. Unfortunately, his colors aren't great, but he's an active swimmer. Maybe some more fairy wrasses. He gets along fine with the yellow chorus wrasse. We have a skunk clown, but we only have one of these, so definitely want to add more skunk clowns, given that we have anemones in here, and that orange is very bright. That cuts through really well. And in this little guy right there, we have a real grandma, which is a great fish. They just don't come out a lot, so. But all in all, we have a lot of area for fish, more fish to come in here. I'm thinking smaller fish. I'm not thinking anything too big, but there's a lot of room. We can get like 20 more fish in this tank easy. And, you know, as far as corals go, I like mushroom corals. I think they're really nice. The problem is finding a large rock is becoming difficult. And the pallies are doing really well, so maybe we go a route with getting different color pallies. The problem with pallies is they don't have the best colors on them. We have these mohawks right there, and the color's okay on them, but just not super bright. So maybe some more zoas. Zoas do a good job of adding color to a tank, right? But like, for instance, we have this whole area right here, this whole ledge that's right up front in the tank for just room for corals. Like, there's tons of room. There's tons of areas to put multiple corals. And then again, we have the whole sand bed where we have rock flower anemones in the sand bed. That would be cool. We add a couple more rock flowers maybe in there too. Now, it is hard to get down to the bottom of this tank because the way it's so awkwardly shaped. It is harder to get pieces down there, but maybe during a water change and make it a little bit easier. And then look at this little anemone floated down here. A little stuck, wedged himself there. Now, as far as the filtration, there's plenty of filtration on this bad boy. The nitrates and phosphates are perfect on this tank. The refugium's working great. That Chato's looking great, so things look well. All right, so we're back at this shop right now. I want to go over some of the guidelines, some of the rules for this aquarium. The customer doesn't want any fish that's too large. So that rules out a lot of tangs, a lot of bigger angelfish and things like that. They want movement and they want color. Those are the two most important things that they want in this tank. Wrasse, Anthias, things like that, I'm sure fit that profile. I need your help, your suggestions of anything that you think would look good in this tank now that you've seen it. But if you guys name it, I'll be sure to try to get it in. Also corals. You see it's mostly soft corals in that tank with a few hammer corals in there. What other corals do you think we should put in there to add some flow, some movement, and some color? And I'll be sure to do any follow-up videos showing the progress of this tank, or when we get the fish in, I'll do a video of me putting the fish in the actual tank. But thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. Remember, comment down below. That'd be awesome. Have a good one.